Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer and today we're taking a look at Rugmi. Now Rugmi is a remote access Trojan that's part of the set-top rat family, and these are rats that are 32-bit and mostly affect Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and Windows 11. If we take a look at it in VirusTotal, this particular sample was first uploaded an hour and 15 minutes ago. It says the creation time was a little less than 2 years ago, but that's almost always falsified, so we ignore that. So if we go by this, it was an hour and 15 minutes and has 38 detections. Now, usually if malware has been out a whole day and have been uploaded, then it would have around 35 to 40 detections. But the fact that it has this many and it's only been uploaded for about an hour is pretty bad. If we go to detections, let's take a look at the big names that are detecting this. We've got Avast, AVG, Bitdefender. Where is Kaspersky? Kaspersky has the Penguish detection. If we go to Malwarebytes, there's an AI detection here. Microsoft, Sophos, and that's about it. What are the major names that are not detecting it? We've got ClamAV, BCAF Pro, surprisingly. BCAF Pro is really aggressive on VirusTotal, so I'm surprised it's not detecting this, but it is not. There you go. Panda, although that's not really a very well-known program, so that's fine. One of my programs just closed. Symantec is not detecting this as well, and WebRoot, but I'm sure WebRoot surprises nobody. If we go to the details, here's your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256 for the video. This will be in the comment section down below as well, so you don't have to type this in on your own. And here is your history of times, first submission, last submission, and all that, and the names that it's been submitted under. So we've got Burn, Koistrel.exe, which is the one that I have, a random string here and a random string here. These mostly, or were most likely uploaded off of malware repositories. If we go to relations, we can see that there are 3 contacted URLs. 2 of them are confirmed malicious, at least by VirusTotal standards, with a status of 200, meaning it's still operational, which doesn't surprise me considering it's only been up for an hour and some change. We do have 3 contacted domains, however, they're all just Microsoft domains. And we have 5 contacted IP addresses, and this is the host for these other 2 URLs up here. We do have 35 dropped files as well. Some of these do have some detections, so we've got RTL120.bpl, randomstring.exe, and then these 2 have 1 detection. If we keep going, this has 2 madaccept_.bpl, madbasic_.bpl, and then idjovcooks. Sure. If we go to associations, which I believe is actually new to VirusTotal, we can see that, surprisingly to nobody, Jaffa Cakes has given it a crowdsourced threat label of set-top rat malware. Be a collection of files, URLs, IPs, and domains related to the malware set-top rat/b. Or that may just be... Yeah, you know what? This is probably just bad HTML code. It's probably supposed to be bold, but this isn't picking up. So this is all you need to be reading. Just ignore the B and the /B. And again, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel, but if you want to look for yourself, you will be able to do so. So we do have 2 sandbox detections. Cape Sandbox gives it malware, and Zenbox gives it malware, stealer, Trojan, evader, and rat. So pretty detailed. However, oh, here we go, okay. So we have 3 crowdsourced Sigma rules, they're all medium, and then we have 6 high and 2 low crowdsourced IDS rules. Malware CNC Win32.Trojan Redline variant, and this was the set-top rat variant, Eric Client 2 backdoor, okay. Those are highs, right? They're not criticals? Yeah, they are highs, okay. And then we've got some other stuff over here, which won't matter because we'll figure all that out in our own testing. And if we go to community, Jaffa Cakes has been here, to the surprise of nobody, and Joe Security. Let's go ahead and minimize this and show the tools that we're going to be using to take a look at this malware. One of them closed in the background for some reason, but we are going to be using System Informer. This is actually Process Hacker that was renamed since the last video. So from now on, we're going to be calling it System Informer. We also have Wireshark, which I'll go ahead and reset the packet capture for. Zooey. And I need to go ahead and reopen Process Monitor, apparently. So we'll go ahead and move that over here. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the file itself. So let's go to its properties. If we go to details, it has the file description legendary, application, It's got a believable-ish file version, 4.10.10.0, and also the same for the product version. Product name is legendary. Copyright's quite believable. Copyright Proto-Actinium, all rights reserved. Size 3.8 megabytes. Original name, Koistral.exe. We go to previous details, obviously no details, and no certificates either. So do with that as you will. All right, I believe we've taken a look at everything that we need to take a look at as of now. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to get System Informer ready. And without any further ado, let's run the malware. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Sure I do. And immediately it executes, and we get this new file here, that's the wrong button, called scandisp.exe. Oh, it's gone now. We'll be able to see it in Process Monitor, that's fine. And we do have command prompt running as well, so you got cmd.exe and conhost.exe. It has full elevated privileges, and it is in a job. I wonder who that surprises. But we don't really see anything else out of the ordinary. We don't see any seemingly fake service hosts or anything that just jumps out and says that it's malicious. It does look like command has closed. Conhost is now running its own parent process, and msbuild.exe, which is the .NET compiler, is now running in the background. So very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and open Process Monitor. And we're going to apply two filters. The first one we're going to do operation is create file. And we're going to do process name is koistral.exe. And while it's doing that, let's go ahead and stop this packet capture really quick. We're going to save that as 1, and then we're going to start a new one. Then we'll also come over to Zooey, import data. We're going to select this and let it go ahead and capture those packets and give us some information on that. Now that this has finished, we have 282 events. Let's go ahead and maximize this and expand the path name. About here should be fine. And we do have a bunch of DLLs that we've seen before on the channel, so nothing too shocking there. We've got some kernel-based stuff. Keep going. It looks like it's accessing Koistral in the temp directory. So let's see if we can jump to that. And it does look like it's actually deleted itself. It is no longer there. So it did delete everything that it was doing after it was done. Not a huge surprise there. We got it accessing the temp directory again. WLDP.dll in the same directory. Of course, if we try to jump to it, nothing happens. Let's see what else there is to see. It's just accessing temp. We're using a registration cab. Okay. Cabinet.dll. I don't know what just happened to my voice. Cabinet.dll. What else? Mapleleaf.dll. That's interesting. We try to jump to that. Access is denied. Okay, so it looks like a random string /.ba is not accessible. Access is denied. Definitely should be accessible because I'm the administrator of the computer. So that's interesting. And then we've got catecholamine.bmp. Can we jump to that? No, access is denied again. So we're not actually able to see what it's doing. Here's the scandisp.exe, and again, access is denied. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maple Leaf, Microsoft Damage 32, and then it's accessing that again. So let's go ahead and try to add that as a new filter. Let's go to the process name, and we're going to replace that with scandisp.exe. And we'll click apply. And while it's doing that, let's open System Informer. And we've still only got the console host and msbuild.exe running in the background. Now, really quick, if I try to open this in Task Manager, Task Manager did open, and these did not close, so they should show up in background processes. Let's go down here. We're looking for, yep, there's msbuild, and then console host, which, if you were just looking at this, yeah, in the Task Manager, and you're seeing things like this, that's not going to be too suspicious on its own, right? So this is why you would want to have something like System Informer to tell you what's going on. So it looks like we have 476 events with scandisp.exe. If I try to jump to this directly, actually, I should go try and jump to that. Okay. If we hover over it, it says driver booster scan dispatch by IOBit. You know, I got a feeling, and I could be wrong. Anything's possible. But I've got a feeling that this is not a legitimate IOBit file. Call me crazy, I know. But something about this seems off to me. Let's go ahead and take a look through all of this and see if anything immediately jumps out at us. Right now, it's just a bunch of DLLs, so that's not too shocking on its own. We do have an SQL file, razu.sql, and I'm sure if I try to jump to this, wow, what a shock. Access is denied. What else do we have here? We've got that catechulamine again. Wonder what that could be. Here's a new folder. App data roaming fast manage v5 catechulamine. Okay. It does let us jump to this, and as you can see, we do have a lot of .bpl files, a SQL file, and then this program, scandisp.exe. And then we have that bitmap. I'll take a look at that in a second, but let's keep going. We've got ntmarta.dll. Okay, I'm not too familiar with that one, but I've got a feeling it would still be a legitimate DLL. What else? Then we've got all these madbasics.bpls, which are in this folder we'll take a look at in a second. VCL120.bpl, WinSpool driver. What else? Oh, ACCRC. I know that's a legitimate DLL, but I forgot what that actually does. For some reason, it's re-accessing all of these kind of seemingly in order. And if you paid attention, the number of events actually went up. So it seems like this is calling its own program, or one of the parent processes are calling this program to run on a timely basis. So we'll see if it updates again. We've got win.http.dll. It's opening command prompt. We've got a temp file here, which is still here. It's 1,485 kilobytes. I'm sure if we just try to access it in Notepad, it's going to be a bunch of garbled nonsense. Well, I'm sure this came to the surprise of nobody. Although we might be able to see some clear text in here. Kind of doubtful, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I will skim through it. Yeah, it's just a bunch of indecipherable nonsense. Okay. That's something more for static analysis anyway. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got a prefetch file. Is the prefetch file still here? You don't currently have permission to access this folder? It is still here. Okay, so we've got the prefetch for it. Interesting enough. wsock32, comctl32, pdh and tdh.dll, and it seems those were deleted as soon as the program was done with them. And it looks like we're just seeing a bunch of the same stuff at this point. We'll come take a look at this again and see if it updates again, like as we get more events from ScanDisp. But we'll come back to that. And now we have a bunch of packets that have been captured. So I'm going to stop it again. I'm going to save it as 2. Go ahead and click save. Start a new capture, just in case anything new happens. We'll close this, and then we'll take a look. We'll minimize that as well. We'll take a look over here. So next I want to open a new VirusTotal tab. And my tab just crashed. Well, that's not good. Is it doing what I think it's doing? Because if it is, something just opened. Oh, it's trusted installer. Okay. Because if it is, that wouldn't be very good. And our Process Explorer just closed again. Not sure why it's doing that, but okay. We were done with it anyway. Let's try to open it directly. Didn't crash this time. I was thinking maybe the malware is doing something trying to keep us from opening VirusTotal. That may not be the case. Let's just run scandisp over here. And it has one detection from Dr. Webb of program unwanted. So we'll reanalyze this. I'm not a robot. Oh my god, I hate when it makes me do this. God, yeah, I'm not trying to record a YouTube video or anything. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be joking. Thank you. Okay, reanalyze. And we'll take a look at this directly. So let's open properties. Driver booster scan dispatch. This could be legitimate. Digital signatures. It is signed. Are they expired? No. Digital signatures okay. Okay, it's got one for the SHA-1 and SHA-256 digest. Huh. I wonder if it's using... Now, I'm not entirely sure what this file is, right? I'm wondering if it's using, like, a legitimate scanner program and is sending information from the scan to a C2 server. It is possible. But that's very interesting. Okay. If we go to behavior, I don't think anything would pick this up. Yeah, no IDS and no Sigma rules. Okay. It could be a legitimate program being used for nefarious purposes. Right. Let's take a look at this one PCAP. It did say successfully finished loading. Go ahead and query the pool. I'm sure we're not going to see much, but we will look through this really quick. 120 rows. We have one HTTP, and this is going to the Microsoft Weather Service, so we don't care about that. Known services. I'm looking for anything that says alert or another red tag. I forgot what it's called, but definitely the ones we want to look for are the alerts. The notices, I think is what they're called. Okay, let's go ahead and open the second PCAP, or at least get it ready for the second PCAP. Let's close these. Import data to .pcapng. That'll load in the background, and then I want to look at these IP addresses. So we're done with this. Let's go to relations, and we do have these two IPs. Now, if I wanted to look at that in Wireshark, let's do ip.addr equals 451418750. Hit enter, and yes, we do still have connections back and forth between this IP. It's a lot of TCP retransmissions, so even if I hadn't done it like that, I'm sure if I saw a bunch of repeated TCP retransmissions, I would have been able to figure it out on my own. Although a lot of these connections seem to be legitimate. Maybe I wouldn't. Oh, wait. We got a lot of stuff going back and forth right now, too. Why did all of this happen out of nowhere? That is a lot of packets being sent back and forth. That's to a Microsoft destination IP. That's interesting. We'll come back to that. How about Zooey? Is Zooey done yet? It is done. So let's query the pool and see what there is to see. We got a bunch of HTTP. Only 241 rows, so we won't spend much time on this. Microsoft Delivery Optimization. Partial content. Oh, that's the file streaming service that checks for updates. We're probably going to see a bunch of those. Here's a notice, and these are usually invalid certs, and that's not different this time. SSL certificate validation failed. Unable to get local issuer certificate. This happens all the time. I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is the alerts. So let's open this one. Suricata app layer wrong direction. We can ignore that. That doesn't really matter for what we're doing. Suricata app layer wrong direction. And that's about it. So no alerts. We don't have any like snort or any other kind of IDS filters that are set up and say, hey, this is something you need to be looking at. Try to snap. I don't think it worked. So let's take a look at this IP address directly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in the IP. And then if that doesn't work, which 99% of the time it doesn't, then we're going to try the entire thing here and see if it downloads something. So let's try 45141 8750. And it's probably going to say connection refused, or it took too long, or something along those lines. So we'll open a new tab. Hello? Hey, I don't know why it wasn't letting... What are you doing? Quit it. Okay, and then that's just probably another file on the server. So we'll wait for this to go ahead and confirm that it's not going to open, and then I'm going to try putting both of these in. See if that does anything. And if it doesn't, we're going to look on abuse IPDB and who is after that. We do also see that this IP address is connecting to Russia. We've got one for... Is that Ireland? IE. That... Yeah, it is Ireland. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen Ireland on here before. And then CH is Switzerland. US is obviously Romania. Duh. And then we've got Russia. So I want to see who's actually picking up on this. Alpha Mountain, Alpha Sock, Bitdefender, Cyradar, it's all showing as malware, and then Grid and Soft shows suspicious. 2 community posts, they're both by Nixil of Xerneas. Geolocation is St. Petersburg, organization Media Land LLC, and SecTopRat C2. Even has a port number. Very descriptive, thank you. Thank you very much, Nix. And then, oh, it isn't the right one already. I was like, why isn't this opening anything? Okay, now let's go ahead and shove these IP addresses into our search bar. Trying to click relations, but I guess I'll just click everything else first. All right, let's go to relations. I'm not very intelligent. All right, let's go ahead and post this in here, see if it downloads anything, but I've got a feeling that it's just going to refuse any type of connection. And yes, that does seem to be the case. Okay, so next I'm going to shove the IP address itself into abuse IPDB. And these port numbers are on port 9000. So it's not over 9000. Let's go ahead and open abuse IPDB. Yes, I am a human. I don't think they were on the Cloudflare network before. What in the world? Okay, delete all that. That, and that. Now we'll check the IP. It has been reported 2 times. So if we check, the ISP is Media LAN LLC, usage type, data center, web hosting, transit, and then we've got an ASN here of AS206728, domain name ml.cloud. And it looks like these were reported 7 and 8 months ago. And both of them were reported as brute force by an anonymous person. So take that with a grain of salt. But let's go ahead and check who is as well. Go ahead and shove the IP address in here. Again, I don't know why it's copying all that information. I just know that it is. And here's the right database query. So, what else can we get from here? It's an assigned PA, M&T by Medianland, person Alexander Bernayev, address, don't go harassing any of these people. We're not getting much information from that. Okay. Fair enough. We take one more look at System Informer. We could see that it actually just opened console host and CMD again. So it's definitely running repeatedly. Now what I'm thinking is this is going to have persistence. And if we go over to virus total, and we maximize this, we can see the tags. Portable executable, checks user input, service scan, checks disk space, detects debug environment, which they all say that, and they never do. Persistence, malware, overlay, calls WMI, and long sleeps. So virus total shows persistence. A lot of times it says persistence and it's not, although this time I'm more inclined to believe it. And that's what separates the info stealers from the rats and what makes the rats more dangerous. Info stealers are a one and done kind of thing. Even if you can't get all of the files off of your computer, all you got to do is change all your passwords and you're good. Because as long as you don't run that file again, then it's, not going to do anything with your new passwords. But with rats, you can't guarantee that you always get all the files off, and if these run repetitively, you're going to get your info stolen every single time you turn on your computer. Or in this case, every 5, maybe 10 minutes. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and restart the computer. So let's go ahead and close all of this. Go ahead and close that. We definitely want to close Wireshark and Zooey, because if we don't, it's going to prevent a shutdown. And let's go ahead, restart the computer, and we'll open, oh, I forgot what it was called. Not Process Hacker, System Informer, I believe is what it was called. We'll reopen that as soon as possible and see if it is still running. Although in this case, I feel like we don't have to rush with it very much. I feel like it's just going to be there, showing up and doing its thing no matter what we do. And yes, it is System Informer. So if we quickly go down here, don't see it running yet. I did see some interesting program there. And yes, here we go. So scan disp.exe does seem to be running repetitively. And command.exe and conhost. Eventually command.exe is going to close, and I believe it's opening msbuild to close command.exe. And then let's watch it for a second. Oh, it's running up here now. That's interesting. Now it's running in service host. Huh, so we had an instance running in service host and in Explorer. Very interesting. But as you can see, the msbuild did close the command parent and left the console host running. So we'll look at this again. We give it a second. We'll see that command.exe should close. Well, this time it just closed everything. But that's probably what it was doing. And then once it creates a new process to scan the system again, that process closes the old msbuild.exe, so the new one could close the cmd host, and then it just repeats on and on. So this does have persistence. So what should you get from this? Very nasty rat. It doesn't cause any damage to the system. As a matter of fact, I don't think it even uses that many system resources. Yeah, it runs without really any usage whatsoever. If we go over here and sort by CPU, obviously the scanner is not running right now, but the background process is msbuild is not running. It probably just force crashes itself, whatever it's done. And then command prompt obviously is going to use very little. But yeah, nasty rat. Will steal your information. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's pretty decent. Haven't seen it before on the channel. Looks pretty original to me. But where's the info steal and then destroy the computer? I want to see explosions and fire. Like it's 1999 again. But that is going to be it for Rugmi. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know what you thought, and if there's anything I did not do in this video that you want to see in future ones. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.